Off from a launch pad in South Texas, SpaceX's Starship rocket exploded on Thursday. Despite failing to reach orbit, the most potent rocket ever built taught the private spaceflight business valuable lessons as it prepared for a mission that would be more successful. Starship slowly ascended after the Super Heavy booster's engines erupted at 9:33 a.m. Eastern Time into a massive cloud of fire, smoke, and dust. The rocket then went through a vital point for the launch of any rocket, the period of maximum aerodynamic pressure, which occurred after about a minute. Then it started to tumble before blowing up in a fireball over the Gulf of Mexico shortly after. Despite the mission's disastrous conclusion, NASA Administrator Bill Nelson congratulated the firm. Mr. Nelson stated on Twitter that every great achievement throughout history has required some level of calculated risk, because with great risk, the space agency is counting on SpaceX to construct a variant of Starship that will ferry 2 humans from lunar orbit to the moon's surface. The mission, which had been postponed since Monday, was eagerly anticipated because of the enormous rocket's potential to send a large number of people and a lot of goods into space in the future. Elon Musk, the company's creator, had tempered expectations before to the launch, which had no passengers aboard and was intended to verify if the architecture of the rocket system is sound. He warned that it could but the rocket flew for 4 minutes and was well clear of the launch pad, marking a number of significant firsts for the mission. Engineers can now comprehend how the vehicle behaved thanks to the voluminous data that the brief flight provided. According to Daniel Dumbacher, executive director of the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics and a former senior NASA official, it may seem that way to some people.
Flight wasn't entirely successful, though. The Starship spaceship was supposed to ascend to a greater height of around 150 miles before splashing down in the Pacific Ocean close to Hawaii approximately 90 minutes later, according to the mission plan. And it's unclear how the results of Thursday's trip would impact NASA's plans, which, in an optimistic scenario, aim for the first lunar landing of people aboard Starship to take place in late 2025. Musk's desire to one day send humans to Mars, an endeavor that would require the conveyance of massive amounts of supplies to accomplish, served as the driving force behind SpaceX's decision to start developing Starship. Entrepreneurs and futurists, though, are focusing more locally. Some have speculated that Starship may transport enormous space telescopes to peek into the universe or squadrons of robots to explore other planets, since a massive, totally reusable spacecraft would reduce the cost of carrying items to space. Others are creating bigger satellites that are less expensive since they won't need to employ the pricey components that are now required to fit under the size and weight restrictions imposed by modern flying, and reusing rockets has the potential to fundamentally alter the way people travel into space, according to Phil Larson, a former White House science advisor who later worked on communication initiatives at SpaceX. And it may open up entirely new sorts of tasks. Despite the setback, SpaceX continues to rule the global spaceflight industry. In 2023,